Welcome back, everybody. This is Brother Bean here. Today we are doing another Strongest There Is build. This is our last War Priest build that I want to give you guys. And this one is not, I don't want to say as impressive as the others. It has a different feel to it. So if you ever wanted to play a cleric who has sneak attack ability, then this is going to be the guy for you. This is going to be a subclass of War Priest called the Occultist, I believe. And the Cultists get sneak attack damage as they level up. They even get a rogue talent, no less. It took me forever to figure out how to get my mods back working again, so good news for us, we have those working. Also, I have updated them, so again, for people that were saying, oh, this doesn't work on the new, where did it go? Call of the Wild, for example. I have the most recent drivers, at least as of a couple days ago. So, we should be good there. Let's actually get into a new game. Don't need Lasses Launching mode. That's just crazy talk. Make it hard, because why the hell not? We are going to pick Occultist. I'm going to make them human. Could be anyone that has a strength-based bonus or a strength-wisdom-based bonus, which I believe fits us into the Asimir builds. And leaving a dwarf, I think, would make a good war priest. But I don't like running slow, and we have some decent picks for humans. Specifically female humans that look like good war priest builds. So we're gonna go with that. Let's see, I had one the other day. It's clearly like a batshit crazy lady with a staff. Oh yeah, I know that's not a staff. Feels like it should be though. We'll go with that one. Wait. Oh, we got that one. There we go. Here's our cultist. No, she's clearly human, and she's clearly female. What the hell's the matter with you, game? Alright, she's clearly pale. Thin, but strong. Notice, as I have updated Call of the Wild, as well as some of the other ones, they'll Call of the Wild adding more classes. You'll see that I actually have more classes. Like, I think Primalist is something new. Anti-Paladin was definitely something I did not have before. That's just freaking awesome. For Magus, we've even got something called a Skirner. This is one that literally can get buffs using a shield and cast spells while using a shield and a weapon, which is freaking awesome. So literally pretty badass. And that would be definitely something of interest to me. I even think Nature Bond of Magus may not have been there before, but I think it was. I actually think that was something that they had in the past. But that's not for you. What we're looking for is the cult leader, not cultist, excuse me. Cult leader, and the cult leader gets rogue talent. They still get things like their fervor, as well as their spontaneous spell conversion, and they get their ability to buff their weapon a variety of ways, as well as their armor a variety of ways. They get sneak attack dice. They get a bonus to stealth, which is something we capitalize on today. They'll even get a bonus to persuasion, which is pretty badass because again we're going to make an intimidating build, something that sets up flat-footedness for the character themselves. So while they're not a solo build per se, they could be. Having said that, also hide in plain sight, a new feature that I don't think was in the game before now. The ability to make yourself invisible if you pass a stealth check in combat, no less. How badass is that? And of course they get rogue talent. Just one, but it's cool. Of course they have to pick a deity. So their alignment's going to be dictated based on that, as well as the two blessings that they're going to get. Notice that she does get weapon focus, and whatever weapon that she has skill in, they have simple weapon proficiency. But that's going to give us quarterstaff or daggers or a couple of other things. If on that simple weapon list is not your choice, then I recommend that you probably go elf. And while that sucks because that means you're going to be a dex/intelligence build, which is neither of something that you want for this build. That would open up your ability to use, I want to say, rapiers and long swords and longbows, and there's all kinds of weird shit. If you wanted just to use a great axe, of course, half-orc is a solid choice. And again, you'd have access to that just because of your half-orc status. The real reason you like playing these characters, though, is because of this, the sacred weapon. The ability to take a weapon's damage, like, say, a dagger, that does 1d4 damage for a human, can actually be upgraded and steadily upgraded as you level up your character, which is part of the reason these builds are so fun. That's nice damage right there. And just to give you some frame of reference for that, let's talk about a dagger that would do 1d4 damage. That would be an average of 1 plus 4 is 5 divided by 2, so 2.5 damage per hit, not counting, of course, power attack or piranha strike, plus a weapon buff, from being magic, so you say a buff from your strength or anything like that. But again, just a generic dagger for someone with a strength of 10 and no other abilities kicking into it. It'd do 2.5 damage on average. By the end of this build, that same dagger could do, let's see, minimum of 2, maximum of 16. Add those together, that's 18 divided by 2. That's 9 damage. That's a big increase. We're adding another 6.5 damage per hit. That's a big, big jump. Now, not less so when you're using a weapon like a staff, which is like a 1.6 or 1.8 from the start. Or sorry, 1d8, 1d6, something like that, from the start. The point is your weapon is just going to constantly get better. And that's always nice. Then throw in the fact that we're going to add sneak attack dice to it, which is going to be freaking amazing. And we're going to make those better. I'm going to show you that right now. So let's get into it. So first, you need a deity. I don't particularly care which one. It doesn't have to be one that wields a staff. Remember, you have access to a quarterstaff by default. The thing you do want is you want an alignment that is at least good in there somewhere. And the reason for that is there's a spell that's an amazing spell, but if you're neutral or evil in that axis, then you literally get boned. You get staggered. You get, if you're evil, you get like poisoned or something. If you're neutral, it just basically fucks you over. So you want any kind of deity. Hell, you can even pick one that's normally an evil son of a bitch, like Asmodeus over here. Nope, he's lawful neutral. I thought he was lawful good. This must be Abadar. I'm thinking of, yeah, Abadar. There you are. Lawful good, lawful neutral, neutral, lawful evil. Because he doesn't care. As long as you're reasonably on the side of law, he's something you care about. The thing you care about is going to be these domains, because that's where your blessings are going to come from. And there's some interesting stuff that can be had here. Is why these builds are so fluid, and why you can have a completely different field than mine. What I'm looking for is one that has trickery, but it's also good. Do we have that as a choice? No. Good. There's one, Lystria. And the reason that is going to be interesting to me, because I believe that is something of value for us. Let's grab a War Priest as a favorite class. We're going to take skill ranks at every level. Point-wise, remember, we're going to max strength. This is a strength-based build. We want to get wisdom up to at least 16. That's the highest you need to cast your level 6 spells, which is as high as you can go. We're going to floor charisma, which may sound like a mistake, but there's method to the madness. So 19, 12, 12, 12, 16, and 7. Now that's going to screw you when it comes to use magic advice and persuasion. Specifically important for your persuasion because, again, intimidation is going to be your thing. Well, remember, we got persuasion skills for free on this build. It's going to be a solid bump. So we're definitely going to invest in persuasion, and you better believe that if there's a way to turn that around, we will try to do so. So again, something that's going to take away the charisma penalty and give us something instead, like perhaps say a wisdom buff. Athletics is something of value for you because you're a strong base character, but stealth is definitely something for you as well, because remember, we're getting not only stealth bonuses later on, hide in plain sight requires you to do a stealth check. So again, the higher your stealth, the more likely they will not perceive you going, I was never here. You did the Jedi mind trick on their ass. But perception is always, always, always going up. Now, skipping some stuff around, we'll come back to our feats here in a minute. You have a choice based on our deity for whether it's spontaneous healing or spontaneous wounding. I suggest healing. You're not playing an undead character, then you definitely want spontaneous healing. If you're playing an undead character and you and Jathel want to pair it up and go out and kick some fucking ass because you guys are both undead, feel free to grab spontaneous wounding, but you need to make yourself undead to do that thing. The reason that's important is because you'd like to have the ability to convert your spells into something that allows you to heal you, the team, whether that's you solo or you and Jathel. Again, if you're undead, then spontaneous wounding heals you. If you're going to be a necrolord, someone that has pets that are undead, again, spontaneous wounding might be the way to go. We're not doing that. We're going to be a healer type. From here, our weapon focus, this is our list. Notice our list is pretty limited. Okay, so unarmed strike, sickles, hell, short swords are even in here. Again, you want to try to stay away from the ranged weapons, in my opinion. Rapiers in here, and that's because of your deity. See that? So that's a reason for you to pick a specific deity. But we wanted quarterstaff, and there's a reason for quarterstaff. Again, you could have convinced me that rapier or dagger were solid choices, and again, they'll all get that increased damage eventually. Why do I say eventually? Dagger will get it right off the bat, because they do 1d4. Well, your little bonus here starts at 1d6. So the dagger will immediately convert it. But a rapier already does 1d6, so it doesn't really get a bonus. But it will once you get to the level 5 through 9, and then on up. So again, it'll steadily get better. So rapier is a solid choice. But I'd like quarterstaff. She had what looked like a quarterstaff in her hands. And for the type of build we're going to do what's called cleaving build. And there's a reason I want to show you some stuff on that, thanks to Call of the Wild merging some feats together. Quarterstaff could be a good way to go. From here, notice our blessings, and this is where we said trickery blessing might be a thing for us. So notice our trickery blessing. You can right click it here, or you can just look down here. You get 2 bonuses. Something that you can probably click more likely than not at level 1, and then another one at level 10. And there's 2 that we're going to pick. Here's one, and then here will be our other blessing. But the reason this is interesting is because we get copycat for level 1, not particularly interesting, but you basically make a duplicate of yourself, which means if they're swinging at you, there is a chance for them to hit the duplicate. Much like mirror image, but you only get 1 duplicate. You don't get like a maximum of 8. So the problem here is it's only going to help you once, but you can reactivate it again, and then suddenly you have another duplicate again. So again, you can always keep it 2-1. From there, though, is this guy here. Greater invisibility is a swift action. You can become invisible for 1 round, has greater invisibility. And again, for someone that needs sneak attack potential, this is going to be invaluable. Now, for our other blessing, let's take a look at luck blessing, see what it offers us. Lucky present affects you and lasts for a number of rounds equal to every wolf. Cool. What's this one? Divine Fortune. Okay, I understand what they say. The same damn thing. Oh no, there we go. Lucky presence. You can touch a willing creature as a standard action. Bit of luck for the next round. Anytime the target rolls a d20, he may roll twice to get the more favorable result. You can see the appeal of that one. And I think these can actually work on you, because it says you can touch a willing creature. That could be you, as far as I know. So that's an obvious choice. Let's take a look at these other ones, see what they do. No, Charm Blessing. What we got here? Charming Presence. Zora. Pass. Knowledge Blessing. We've done this one before. This one's a nice one because it allows you to get info on your guy based on your War Priest level and your Wisdom modifier. Plus 15, and added all of that for a knowledge check, which is pretty badass. Or after you've done that, you literally or have just general knowledge of the target, I should say. It doesn't have to be because of that skill. You can actually get a monster lore bonus to your attacks, your saves, as well as your armor class against that creature. So again, that's pretty badass. Not something I want to repeat, so let's just actually do that luck blessing. Plus, it'll give me a chance to check to see if we can actually buff ourselves. From here, before we get into our feats, we want to grab our drawback as well as 3 traits. I should recommend for the emotional drawback, envy, and for physique drawback, which we'll get later, hedonistic. They're easy. You don't have to worry about what they do to you. So long as you have money in your pocket, it's never an issue. And I really mean that. You need gold. So as soon as you start getting gold, you always want to keep a specific amount, because if you have a specific amount of gold or more on you, then you literally do not get penalized by envy. You don't get penalized by hedonistic. So that's why those are the 2 that most people go to. For there, that gives us a 3rd trait to pick from. So now what's our 3 traits? Well, combat traits, the obvious. Blade of the Society for a reason. I said we were going to give you more sneak attack die. It won't kick into level 3, but that's okay, because that's when you actually get your first sneak attack die anyway. So at level 3, instead of having 1d6, you'll have 2d6. But you'll actually have more than that. You'll have 2d6 plus 2. Every die you get is going to get another plus 1 damage added to it. So by the end of this build, instead of saying 6d6, with this it could be 7d6 plus 7. If I grab the accomplished sneak attacker, and you better believe I'm probably going to do that, then I'll actually finish with an 8d6 plus 8 damage for sneak attack damage. And that's the goal here. From there, really what you want is equipment trait, family heirloom, pick yourself the weapon that you picked. In our case, assuming it's in this list, in our case it's quarterstaff. This gives you a magic quarterstaff at level 1, gives you a plus 1 to your swing, not because it's plus 1, that's also there too. Same with weapon focus, it's also there because of that, but it also gives you a plus 1 because you've been training with it all your life. Because of that, this stacks with weapon focus. So we have weapon focus already plus 1, we have now the family heirloom plus 1, and it's a plus 1 weapon. So you got plus 3 to your swing just because of all the shit you've picked so far. And then throw on your strength modifier because it's a strength-based weapon. So we're at a, plus 4 because of that, so that's another 7 now to your swing. And yeah, you don't have a BAB increase at level 1, You get it at 2, 3, and 4, then nothing at 5, then you get it at 6, 7, 8, which means 3/4 progression. By the end of this build, you'll have a 15 BAB, but you have a very strong character, lots of ways to buff your character, and that's what we're going for our last thing here. If you go for your faith trait, we get wisdom in the flesh, and turn our persuasion into wisdom modifier instead of charisma. If that's not your thing, because it's not necessary, and I have another way of making our strength be added on top as well. So this would just make you very good at intimidating and of course persuading as well. Nothing wrong with that. You're going to rule a kingdom. If that's not your cup of tea, the other choice is Fate's Favored. See this guy here? Anytime we have a luck bonus of any kind, we get a +1 to that luck bonus. That's actually not true. It only seems to work with anything that's an attack bonus, possibly even damage bonus. But definitely if it's an attack bonus, you'll see it. You'll actually see it in your combat log when you check it to see how much chance to hit that guy did I have. If you have a luck bonus on you, it will go up by 1 under a separate little category. It's because of Fate's Favorite. This is something I usually recommend for the War Priest, but again, it isn't really necessary. And again, if we want to intimidate, then getting something that allows us to intimidate really, really well is of value. So I recommend this one. From here, we have to grab a penalty. In this case, we recommend Spell Vulnerability. Abjuration is the staple because, again, you're only weakened against cold, which means you take more damage from cold, and you only have a penalty to your saves against abjuration spells. There's not very many of the ones that there are. It's not that big of a deal usually. But since you are a person who hates, say, the undead, since you're a healer type, perhaps Spell Vulnerability Necromancy and a weakness to unholy damage is your thing. And I can't tell you what to pick here. Abjuration would be most people's go-to. I'm just going to go with type, and I'm going to go with Necromancy. From there, that gives us an extra feat. So we have 3 feats now as a human at level 1. Well, what feat would I want? Well, you better believe you want power attack. You want to hit hard, right? So we're going to grab that one right off the bat. From there, we have another one that doesn't show up until you actually get a BAB that's higher than what we have right now. Let me show it to you real quick. It's under the F category. Furious Focus. See that there? You need a BAB of 1, which means you won't be able to pick it up to level 2. In our case, level 3, because that'll be the next time we get a feat. That's okay, but that's something that we're going to grab. What else might we grab? Well, we could grab Blind Fight is useful. Dazzling Display is something that we're going to need for the build that we're going for. Let's grab that one. We cannot grab Corning Smash yet. We cannot get Shattered Defenses yet. And at this point, there really is no right answer. Toughness is a solid choice. Where's the one? The eyes, isn't it? Intimidating Prowess is something that we're going to want to grab. Now, having said this, we could get this for free-ish over here at the Rogue Talent. The reason for that is there's a combat trick that you can grab here that allows you to pick a variety of feats. This is a way for you to get an extra feat, but there's also other hidden shit in here. You only get 1, but there's some serious fun that can be had here, so I'll show you that. So that's why I'm okay with picking this up now. Again, you know you're going to get yourself Blind Fight, so you might as well grab it. So I'm going to grab that instead of Intimidating Prowess. We'll get Intimidating Prowess later. The reason that this is important is, again, we want to set ourselves up with the ability to be hidden. With one of our spells, we can do that if we have enough range. And that's also going to penalize us because we'll be blinded in that effect. Well, with Blind Fight, Improved Blind Fight, and Greater Blind Fight, that is a less of a problem for us. And that's why we want to do that. Staff only, and you need to be good of some category. Lawful good, neutral good, chaotic good is fine. So again, we're going to be chaotic good.
Wherever my legs carry me.
And she's clearly crazy.
All I see is blackness.
Damn right. All right, now we need to power level her up. So we're going to go to our bag O tricks. Let me show you that here in a second. Yeah, dragon. What up, dragon? First, let's take a look at our character. Notice that you are given 2 staves, so make sure to switch on the magic one. Notice that we have a penalty here. Why? Because we're in scale mail. They give it to you by default. She can only wear light armor, so that's something that we're going to go chuck right now. Let's actually go down to this guy, get rid of this gear that we don't need, and get ourselves a piece of chain shirt. Okay, or leather, studded leather, padded armor, anything like that. Hell, even robes with like a bracers of armor class would work for her. But we definitely want to get rid of some of this junk. Alright, here's my the armor category. Oh, now we can go by price. There we are. Doing that. We go here, and now you see that we don't have our penalty. Notice, power attack is still a penalty right now. But once I get Furious Focus, the very first swing, that penalty, you will not see it. And remember, the idea is, if you hit them once with Cornigan Smash and power attack, you'll basically be intimidating them. And every hit thereafter, if they're shaken, not everyone can be shaken, but if they're shaken, now they're flat-footed to you, which means sneak attack, sneak attack, sneak attack. You may not even have a better chance of hitting them. You probably will, but you might not. But because they're shaken, we'll get our sneak attack damage, and that's the goal. Put her way down here.
Wait for me
Talk
there,
to the dragon.
I wonder.
Now, let's see. Control F10 pops up our mod manager. Notice we have a bag of tricks. We went to character creation, progression, and experience. Down here, I like that. Type in 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros in a row. And once you hear that noise, you know you've leveled up. And we're going to shrink that down. Before we leave here, I want to show you something. So items and equipment. This is a way for you to gift yourself things, but it's really tiny. Filters. I want to show you the reason for rapier, dagger, or quarterstaff. Because again, I'm not telling you which weapon to pick. I'm just telling you I'm grabbing staff. So if we go dagger, know that this is not every dagger that you can wield, because some of these are punching daggers. Like Silent Whisper, Deceiver, Troublemaker, Trouble Solver, at least one of those is a punching dagger. That doesn't count. That is not a dagger proper. So if you have weapon focused dagger, make sure you're grabbing the right one. But there's a laundry list of them. Now look at all the names of Frailty, and then if you go down here, besides the non-name ones, which are still pretty good, get back down to ones that are named again, like you have White Flare, which again is a punching dagger, Arcane Protector, Dark Wind, like Duelist, we have Dormition, Prehistoric Tooth, which again I think is a punching dagger, Edict, Brilliant Energy, Keen Dagger, plus, is that a 2 or 3? I think it's a 3. There's a lot, is my point. So daggers is solid, and remember, people shy away from it because, oh, well, I mean, 1d4 damage is kind of shit. Yeah, but you don't have that problem. You get it all the way up to 2d8 with that motherfucker. And we get sneak attack dice. So again, it's less of a concern for me. And there's a lot of good buffs inside daggers. For example, back at the top. No. Walk right past it. Arcane Protector. This is one of those daggers that not only gives you armor in the form of dodge, this is also one that makes you immune to the nausea condition. So if you have a poison cloud, that's usually caused by nausea, a stinking cloud, you literally can be stepping in it and it will not affect you so long as you have that dagger in your little fingies, which is really, really nice. So this is another reason why I'm a big fan of daggers. The downside why I'm not picking daggers this time, it's not that they're not great, it's I'm using power attack. I'm also going to be using the cleave and finish build, which is actually a lot easier now. We'll get to that here in a minute. We'll get pick feats. But I need range. And while the quarterstaff has the same exact range as a dagger, which go fucking figure how that makes sense. To me, it just, I gravitate towards the fact that it's a big stick. It should have range. It does not. Obviously, you'd want something like a long spear or something of that nature for range. But we also have spells that can make me bigger. That spell that makes me bigger means that I now have range. Would I have range with the dagger? Yes. So again, not much of an issue, brother. What the hell are you doing to me here? Well, I know that, or think, I should say, that power attack doesn't work quite right with those light weapons. You get better damage, but you don't get as much, I don't think. So that's a problem for me. I want all the damage. So I still want something that's either a one-handed that can go two-handed. That's not a dagger. Rapier, maybe, but not a dagger. But a quarterstaff, definitely, because it is a two-handed weapon by default. Okay, so everyone's different on that. That's the reason that I'm picking quarterstaff. And to show you rapiers, because again, that was an obvious choice for us because the deity that we had picked This is most of the rapiers in the game. Not all. But again, Satisfaction, Revelry, Black Salt, Deadly Grace, Stratagem. Hell, there's a laundry list of named ones in here. And again, just generic ones that are like on fire, agile, so forth. Agile not being a thing for you because, remember, we're not an agile-based build. We're not going to go off of dexterity. We're going off of strength. But it's nice to know that it's there. And there's a shit ton of rapiers. Another one that's not on the list is if you type in Cutlass. I'm not going to do it. Trust me, if you type in Cutlass, you'll find one. And it is still considered a rapier, but they list it under Cutlass. The one we're going for is Quarterstaff. Just type in quarter. You'll see that we've got a laundry list of quarterstaff. We got Burnt Oak, Black Raven Staff, probably Cheetah, the Call. I'm going to grab that just to have it. Will the Disciple, Rigid Oak Staff. I'm going to grab that one as well because there's some fun that we have that. The Undaunted. Come on down here. You see even more. We have where you go, bastard. Crimson Counselor, Staff of the Whispering Souls. That's actually the DLC, if I'm not mistaken. But I think you can actually gift that to yourself if you do the DLC, right? Speed Ghost Touch Quarterstaff +4, and that's not named, but that's a worth mentioning one. And again, some other ones that are pretty fun. Ruin, the Twin Serpents, again, solid choice. There's a reason, though, that I like Quarterstaff. And again, it's because there's some really fucking good ones in the game. Of course, we have no use magic device or knowledge arcana. So we have the dragon identifying for us, so we know what the hell we're actually looking at. So the reason I wanted this, the Call, not only is it a plus weapon, but it also gets spells built into them, and many of the quarterstaffs do. Another reason I like the quarterstaffs. Some have spells where it's like X amount of uses per day. Some have, like this one, where you can at will a spell. And it may not be an amazing spell, like this one here. Glitter Dust is not tits or anything, but it is decent. And the fact that any round I can just be like, you know what, fuck you. I want Glitter Dust on your ass. Remember, Glitter Dust has two effects. One, it could potentially blind them, and then, which of course sets up your sneak attack. And B, it also coats them in a way where they have a penalty to their stealth, which is, by the way, how invisibility in this game works. So if you're invisible, you just have better stealth, is the way it works. So if I'm taking away 20 from your stealth, or your invisibility, I'm lighting you up like a Christmas tree. It's more easy for me and my team to see you. So you can see the appeal here. While this is not the only one, the other one that I was looking at, again, was the Rigid Oak Staff, and the reason for it was this is one of the few con bonuses in the game that is not an enhancement. This is a morale bonus. So by having this staff in your little fingies at all times, you just gave yourself better fortitude and more hit points per level. Again, pretty freaking awesome. It has some other stuff going for it as well. We got another bonus to our fortitude saves, and not just because of the increase to con, but a morale bonus to fortitude itself. So you saw that this went up twice. Once from the con increase, that's why it says +3, and the other from the morale bonus from the staff itself for fortitude itself. Then we can cast Resist Sonic twice a day. Again, lame. But it's there, and if you're fighting bards, they like to scream at shit. So again, this could be of value. So again, on you to decide what quarterstaff you want. You'll probably grab all 4 of them, or 3 decent quarterstaffs, and have like a ranged weapon over here for when you do need to range some shit. Hit that last guy with a solid, I was going to say bow, but I want to say crossbow. There you go. A solid crossbow shot. Again, that's on you. But you have spells that can take them out at range more likely than not. Probably just keep one of those in your back pocket would be my advice to you. And just grab all 4 quarterstats. Because again, if you get 4 good ones, like this one here, you will have spells that you never had access to. Just switching them out on a moment's notice. Oh, I want that one. Oh, I definitely want that one. Again, we'll talk about that later. Let's actually level this bitch up. War Priest, level 2. Again, Perception and Persuasion are always important for this build. I highly recommend that those always go up. From here, Stealth is always important. Or Religion. You are a religious person. You should have at least unlocked it. Same with Use Magic Device on you for when to do those things. But again, you'll dance between Athletics, Lore Religion, and Use Magic Device periodically would be my advice to you. Notice now we have our Quick and Personal spell at level 2. Once you get out of the tutorial, this is an amazing upgrade for you. This allows you multiple times a day for you to literally go, poof, I've activated a spell on myself, probably a buff or a shield, a protection of some kind, and you can still attack or still cast another spell. That's extremely valuable, especially in the harder difficulties of this game, and especially early on in the game, because again, you get jumped a lot. So when it's your turn and you're already at like half health because you already took it to the fucking chin, the ability to go shield buff, and I can still attack. Fuck yes, that means I'm not wasting another round of me just standing there taking a beating for no good reason. If I can take a guy out and buff myself at the same time, you better believe I'm gonna do it. Going. Finally get her sneak attack die. Now, here's my advice to you on this one. This one's gonna be advice that you're probably not gonna like, but I'm here to tell you that it's something that you want. For this feat, we're gonna pick Accomplished Sneak Attacker. Why? There, give it to me. There it is. Why? Because if you're going to get it at any point in your build, it's better to get it early than late. Why? Because 1d6 going to 2d6 is of value, but having 6d6 go to 7d6, that's not so much that you're going to notice it. So if you're not going to pick it here, you'd pick it here. Well, there's something that I want to pick up here. So again, I don't mind picking up at this spot, and there really wasn't much that I wanted to pick at level 3. So let's give you a for instance of what I could have picked instead. For instance, I could have grabbed Cleave. I could have grabbed Furious Focus. Remember, I don't want to miss with my swing. That's a bonus to my swing. Intimidating Prowess. Those three right there alone are solid choices. Okay. If you wanted a different type of weapon at level 1, you should have picked, by the way, Martial Weapon Proficiency. Or, again, a deity that had the weapon of your choice. But we didn't do that. But I do want this. I do want this here. Notice, once Persuasion, all we have to do is 1 rank in it, which we do. We have more than that in it. And we have a +3. Once we get it to 10 ranks, which will be at level 10, we'll be getting a +6 to that. So again, we aren't as bad off as you think. Strength, always strength. Bonus to our swing, bonus to our damage. And again, it's not really showing up here, but once you look at this category, see how it says 13 instead of 10? That's from our skill focus. How about our stealth? Is our stealth working? Well hidden. See the +2? Notice that our chain shirt is penalizing us. That's a problem, but it's something that we'll deal with. Now again, the extra 1 point, wherever. Again, there's no wrong answer. Hell, if you want to get a little trickery under your belt so you can pick a lock or two, hey, do that thing. I know that Use Magic Device and Low Religion are of value for you because, again, of your Wisdom modifier, and Use Magic Device can use all the love they get because you have a penalty thanks to no green check mark, which we will get, and a penalty because of our Charisma, which we can get around. Those. Sure, Low Religion, that sounds good. From here, Cleave, like I said, is a solid choice. Furious Focus, though, where are you at? Here. And we don't get Intimidating Prowess till late. And again, may not ever get it. We don't have to pick it up. But it is a solid buff for a character that's going to be wielding a lot of strength. Furious Focus, on the other hand, we need to hit. And taking away that penalty for just the very first strike. That includes whether you're charging, you only have 1 strike at all, or you're fully swinging and hitting him 3-4 times in the fucking head. The very first swing in that combat round, every combat round, will not have that penalty. Though, if we connect with it, remember, with Corny Smash and Power Attack on, we have a chance to hit the motherfucker in a way that is going to make them intimidated. From that point on, Shattered Defenses will kick in once we get Shattered Defenses, and it'll just be easier for us to hit them, or at least sneak attack them. Going. Keep going. Close. This is our one and only rogue talent. Now notice we have the show unavailable here. Don't bother with this because you're never going to get it again. So don't even look at this stuff unless you're trying to see if, oh, maybe I could have picked that up if I had picked up a different feat. That'd be the only reason to look through here. But as you can see, most of this stuff is hidden behind a wall of advanced talents, which we do not have. So that's always a thing. If there is something, though, that could have benefited you, it ain't here. So don't, well, yeah, martial training, you don't have that. So again, there's nothing in there. So just keep to this list here. And this list is not that impressive. I mean, let's just say it. You don't want minor magic. That's lame sauce. You have magic of your own. Why would you give a shit? Slow reactions could be okay. Another skill focus could be alright. Again, you could give yourself a bonus to perception, to use magic device, to athletics, to lore religion, stealth, for that fucking matter. Again, on that though, one of the ones that I do like is fast stealth. The ability to move at full speed while stealthing is very powerful. And with our hide in plain sight, once that makes you stealthed, you have the ability to whoop, get to the other side of the fucking map where the other bad guy's at, potentially. And you can see the appeal. So I recommend fast stealth for you. Now notice, we have been investing in Persuasion all this time, and you needed it to get to at least a 6, I believe, to do what we want to do on this next part. Corny and Smash. Persuasion of 6 minimum, and you need a power attack. This is not necessary. Be real clear on this. This is nice. It's not necessary. The reason it's not necessary is because while this sets up the intimidation check, which of course is what we're shooting for, you didn't have to. You had enough spells that could actually make bad guys scared of you. So we could have set up Shattered Defenses a variety of ways. And Shattered Defenses isn't even available yet. Just to show it to you. It's available at like level 8 for you, which in our case we level 9. And that's fine. But you did not need Corny and Smash to pick it up. It just is a good way to set up the intimidation check, the shaken effect on the bad guys, for some of them anyway, and then sets up Shattered Defenses without relying on spells. That's why I'm doing this one. Always strength. Always those 3. From there, let's get more lower religion. Sure, why not? Notice now, of course, we had our buff to our armor, by the way. I forgot to point out to you. Sure. I'm going to slack on athletics because we do have enough strength that we can kind of get by without it. And we have spells that can buff our athletics check. From here, looking for our Shattered Defenses. There you go. And now we're technically set ourselves up for sneak attack damage for most fights as a result of that. We'll do use magic device. Now, I'm going to show you the cleave build. And the reason the cleave build is kind of late is because we don't need as many as we used to. So that's why I want to show this to you. So, at this point, again, I would suggest you grab Intimidating Prowess, get yourself your strength bonus added on to your intimidation check, because again, that's kind of your bread and butter. But if that's not your thing right now, or you wanted to work on this cleave build, you grab Cleave. Used to be you'd grab Cleave, Great Cleave, Cleaving Finish, and Improved Cleaving Finish. That's 4 feats. And we have room for it. But with the new Call of the Wild mod upgrade, they've combined those into 2. It's Cleave now and Improved Cleaving Finish. That's it. That's all you got anymore, which is kind of badass. Notice our hide in plain sight, more sneak attack dice, and again, a better bonus to our weapons, more strength, better swing, more damage, all that jazz. I'm going to grab, let's just keep getting that use magic device up there. Better armor upgrades. Now, see Cleaving Finish? That's it. And how do I know that? If you show unavailable. First, let's go down to the G category. Make sure that Great Cleave isn't in here. It shouldn't be. It should be by now, but again, with that mod, they took it out. And if you come down here, it's not even in this category. So again, look in your G's for Great or Greater Cleave. I forget what it's officially called, but it's definitely one of those 2. Greater Blind Fight, Greater Bull Rush, Dirty Trick, Disarm. Nothing in here about Great Cleave. See that? So it's clearly missing. And then the last one was the Improved Cleaving Finish. That would be under the eyes. Weapon, Stalwart, Great Fortitude, Feint, Eldritch, Combat, Channel. That's it. So they took them all away, is my point. So it's Cleave, Cleaving Finish. That's all you get anymore. Now, I believe they merge. So I could be mistaken on that, where they only give you just those 2 choices. Because, again, let's just say it. Improved Cleaving Finish was a broken-ass system. But if it works like it should, and you can hit multiple guys until you run out of guys to hit, this is the way to go. From there, we can get whatever the hell we want, and there's plenty of other stuff for us to have fun with. Those things there. Get that stealth up. Magic device. Now, level 15, I am going to actually take something that I've wanted for a while now. I'm going to take the additional traits. The additional traits will allow us to diversify our character just a bit more. So you see this guy right here? That's when you want. Notice again, this is where you're going to take your physique drawback for hedonistic. Gives us 3 traits. And now we can have some fun. So race trait. Nothing in there. Social. Hunter's blood could be of value. Now here's another example of one where our intelligence isn't amazing, but we can do clever wordplay and use our intelligence modifier instead of our charisma modifier, say for use magic device. Well, what is our intelligence modifier right now? It's a +1. What's our charisma modifier? -2. That's a +3 now to our use magic device check. That's good. It's not great. I like Hunter's Blood because, again, hunting undead, kind of your thing, you would think. And again, +1 to your attack, your damage, and your armor class against undead. And we get to pick something. Persuasion, lore nature, lore religion, or we get a trait bonus on that skill, and it's always a class skill force. Well, they're already class skills force already. But persuasion is something of value for us. So having it go up another +1, fuck yeah. Let's lock that shit in there. If that doesn't stack because we grab something else, then you should probably grab, say, lore religion. But I think we're good there. From here, the other two we want, let's go to the magic. Dangerously Curious is the one that you'd probably want. Let me explain. This gives you a green check mark for use magic device and a +1 trait bonus for use magic device. So that's +4 increase for us for use magic device now, which is probably what I'm going to steer you towards. If you were going to focus more on being an intelligence-based build, and I don't mean that you're going to put more points in intelligence, I mean that you're going to grab gear that has high intelligence and maybe say, fuck charisma because charisma sucks, then we could have gone for the pragmatic activator, and here's why. Again, you could use your intelligence modifier instead of your charisma modifier for use magic device. The difference is right now 3 points of difference because we're at a -2 for charisma but a +1 for intelligence. Having said that, if I was going to push that intelligence with gear higher, that gets to be a much bigger increase. You can clearly see that. This one is giving us +4. Why? Because we're actually getting it as a green check mark now. That means 3 points invested, given it to us for free once we invest in it at least once, which we have done, and get the trait bonus right there. So that's why it's +4 versus +3. So this is technically better for those that are not going to invest in intelligence. But if intelligence was definitely going to be your go-to, along with wisdom, of course, then you probably want pragmatic. So I'm going to go with that one. Here, notice we have campaign traits. I would pass on those for the time being. Race traits, there wasn't anything particularly interesting in this for those. Possibly superstitious. Regional traits, though, I like Wanderlust. Notice that we could have gone balanced education. And notice how this works. We could, again, exchange our ability modifiers with something else. Instead of intelligence for charisma, we could have done con with charisma. And they're both the same right now. Remember, +1 because our intelligence and our con stat are both 12. So I could use con for use magic device if I so choose. Again, not great, not ideal, but you could see some fun here. If you want to have a bonus to your persuasion, again, here you go. Notice that this one uses your intelligence again instead of your charisma modifier, but we already took the one that took our wisdom modifier instead of charisma. So again, there's a variety of ways to make persuasion or use magic device work for you with a terrible charisma stat is why I point this out to you. Why am I grabbing Wanderlust? Extra ground speed. Remember, you have fast stealth. Remember we picked that shit up way the hell back here? So we can move at our full movement speed without worrying about breaking stealth. They can still perceive us. It's not the same issue. When you're stealthing normally, for everyone else, they're going to go all sneaky, creepy quiet and walk all like on tippy toes and shit. We're just whoop to the other fucking side. If they see us, they see us. Fuck it. It's what it is. If not, we're going to be stealthing all the way up to their asses and sneak attacking their asses. And that's why I like the extra movement. So Wanderlust is a nice addition for you. If you want daggers, there is this one called River Rat, where you get damage bonus with your daggers and an athletics bonus, which is what swim is kind of falling under that category. So you see you actually get this here. So again, we could have made athletics better and their damage with daggers better if you were a dagger person. I could care less. Or priest. Strength, always strength. Those three, and use magic device. And again, take a look at that bad boy. See how the Dangerously Curious is kicking in as well? You don't see it on the plus 11. You see it here now. So you're getting actually 12. So we're not doing that bad. We need to get it up higher, that's for sure. But we want it to be right around, I usually shoot for it to end right around plus 15. And the reason for that is with gear, that'll put us well into the plus 20 category. And that's usually good enough for me. But stealth was important for this build. Much better weapons, much better armor. Gotta love all those things. Better spells too, by the way. Keep going here, here, and here, and use magic device some more. Alright, from here, what's left to grab? So we got that, we got all those. You could get, just to show it to you, Dreadful Carnage, where you kill somebody and you scare everyone in a fucking circle. And as a cult leader, that kind of makes sense. You know, it's like the, scare the fuck out of the bad guys. But it's not necessary, and we have spells that can scare things in an AoE circle anyway that doesn't even involve us killing the bastard, which is effort. So having a spell that just is on me and I'm terrorizing everybody anyway. So again, I don't really need that. But as far as other stuff that could be of value, Blind Fight, Greater Blind Fight, and again, those are the last two that I'm going to suggest to you. Notice how we're not getting Intimidating Prowess. You can swap out Greater Blind Fight for Intimidating Prowess if you must. I still don't think you need it. Let me explain why. Notice that we have this here. Let's take a look at that Persuasion stat that we got going on right now that we've been buffing up every whip stitch. What are we actually sitting at for Persuasion right now? 30 goddamn 1. Just saying, okay? We're doing well, is my point. I don't think you need to worry about your Persuasion going up another 6 or 7 points. Yeah, it'd be nice. I'm just saying, it would be nice. But it's not probably necessary. Now this one's done. Why? Because I said 15. See the total value of 15? 14 here plus the one you're not seeing. So that's why we're finishing. And at that point, the last one can still go there. It doesn't make that much of a difference. I put it in more religion or athletics just to be a dick. But whatever. Doesn't much matter. And again, Dreadful Carnage is still a good choice. Blind Fight's the one we're going to grab. Intimidating Prowess could have been fun. You know, again, not a whole lot of wrong answers there. I do like this one, and let me explain why. So, for Blind Fight, I think we got a level 1 no less. Blind Fight allows us, when we're blinded, or someone has a displacement or blur effect on them, which is a 20% or 50% chance to miss them. We roll twice. Why? Assuming you miss on the first roll. So you roll 1 to 100. Let's say they're blur on them. That's a 20% miss chance. You roll 1 to 100. If you rolled a 1 through 20, you would miss. Not with Blind Fight. With Blind Fight, which is always on, you would roll a second time, and you take the second result. That doesn't mean you don't miss. That doesn't mean you won't roll another 1 through 20. So again, it's not guaranteed, but it is helpful. And you still could whiff because you just can't penetrate their armor. That's a completely separate roll. But it is extremely helpful. And we have a spell that we can get at level 1 that allows us to set that shit up. So it's a penalty for us and a penalty for the bad guys. And of course our team. But it's a very good penalty for them. Again, with Blind Fight alone, we are setting ourselves up to be not as penalized by it. Improved Blind Fight now is necessary because, again, we don't want to be flat-footed. We don't like getting sneak attack, so that's an issue. And again, we don't lose our dexterity bonus, pathetic though they may be. We get a chance to spot, if you will, the invisible stalker because of the improved Blind Fight. Notice, if, and the very top sentence is most important here, your melee attacks ignore the mischance for less than total concealment. Total concealment is 50% chance. That's, for example, not only ready to get it, but for example, that's displacement on a bad guy. 50% chance to strip, just whiff. Doesn't matter how good or bad his armor is or how good or bad your swing is. You will miss him 50% of the fucking time. But we got blind fight. Remember, you get to roll that again. That's the next sentence. But if it's 20%, so say he has blur on him, or has some other effect like we can cast that would allow us to hit them only and miss 20% of the time, we ignore that. That's why you could technically stop here. This is good enough for my build. This makes you just great. Why? Not only do you still do all the same stuff that blind fight and improved blind fight do, greater blind fight has that and then some. It takes the 50% miss chance now and drops it to 20. It doesn't go lower than that, but it's still, if there's a 50% chance to miss that bastard, that could be a thing. We're only missing 20% of the time. That's still something we can capitalize on. That's why I wanted it. You don't have to if you don't think that that's overkill. And blind fight is usually good enough. I would still recommend improved blind fight, minimum. But again, if you wanted to get that feat back, to get that ever popular intimidating prowess, or maybe you want that dreadful carnage, hey man, do that thing. But this would be the only one on this entire build that I'm like, yeah, I could see swapping it out. But that's why I'm picking the one I picked. Last level. Big upgrade. Bonus to strength, bonus to damage, bonus to your swing. Really nice stealth right now. And again, just to reiterate the points there, 24 would be better if the chain shirt was like magical, and then that -2 wouldn't be there, which of course is something we would do. So you'd be at probably like a 26. That's not bad. And not to mention your gear would make you even better than that. There's a gear that can buff your stealth besides your dexterity, which is how stealth is calculated. Again, this one's done. I have no problem putting it in there, but fuck it, might as well go say Lord of Religion, just be a smart ass. Aspect of War, and our weapon is now the +5 category. Now, there's a laundry list of stuff here to go through. I will explain some stuff to you. You understand just by my explanation for a lot of these things. Your ability to buff your armor or your weapon is extremely valuable. That's the things that I'm taking off right now, because I want to get my spells where they belong. And put stuff in the tray where I think they should go. Notice some differences between the cult leader and the other guys. We want to have our charge, our coup de grace, we want our fighting defensively, we want our power attack, we want our cleave ability, because you have to activate it. You don't need to put dazzling display down here. Normally what I would reserve for down here would be things like our special abilities. Also I have glitter dust on tap thanks to my staff, as well as my summons thanks to my staff, so I'm going to put those down there as well. We have the ability to heal ourselves. We have the ability to target others to heal them, which could also damage undead, so you should probably put those down there, but both of them. It's just a nice way to remind me. We have the way to buff our weapon. We have the way to buff our armor, so I'll put sacred armor here, and I'll have my weapon buff down here just to remind me I have those abilities. And then, of course, we have our Divine Fortune. And where's our other one? Personal one over there. Missing one. Hold on a second. 1, 2. Aspect of War, but that's more of a buff. I'm missing something. What am I missing? Lucky Presence. What the hell is it? Hiding Plain Sight, I'll take that, but that's not what I was looking for. We'll put Hiding Plain Sight right there. Sorry, I should be explaining what I'm looking for. There is a... Oh, there it is. Jeez, man, I'm blind. Greater Invis. There is, I'm about to say, there is a buff that we have that I'm straight up missing. And I'll take the aspect of there, fine. Now, as far as the weapon buffs, again, you will find that you get steady more and more of these things as we level up. This... you get more uses a day, and if I rest, which I'm not going to do right now, I want to get my spells in, and then you'll get more uses than just the 4 here. So same with this 4 here. This is garbage. This is actually, I think, caps out at like 15. Same with your armor. You'll get more uses of armor upgrades. What these do is they will buff your armor where it gets +1, +2, all the way up to a +5, and I think that it caps out at that. If the armor's already magic, you will not exceed +5. You can get up to +5, so then you're wasting shit. Is my point. Very similar to the Magus builds where you buff your weapon, same general principle. You can buff your weapon up to a +5, but if the weapon's already +4, you're wasting points. So use those points wisely. Those points, for example, can be used for things like making it a weapon that does frost damage, or electric damage, or fire damage, or making it a keen weapon, or etc. and so forth. Same with your armor. You can make it where you're resistant to fire, or cold, or acid, or sonic, or electric. Not sonic, but definitely electric. You can give yourself spell resistance. You can make yourself fortified, where you're taking less damage. You're ignoring crits. You're ignoring sneak attacks to a certain degree. So you can see the appeal of the weapon and the armor buff that you get for free. This is just like when for the other war priests. The difference between you and the war priest, because again, you're cult leader, a subclass, is you'll notice that while we have the ability to heal ourselves and heal others, single target, we never got the AoE ability to heal everyone in mass or to damage undead in mass. That's because you're a cult leader. Okay, so if you were building like, oh, why didn't you do that specific, feat that capitalizes off of channel energy? Because you don't get channel energy because you're a cult leader. And that's one of the biggies that it took me forever to realize why the hell I wasn't building my build the way that I'm used to. Let's look at spells. I am going to recommend stuff to you. Doesn't mean that you have to listen to me. But I'm going to tell you why certain spells were interesting to me. For this level, I have everything that I want. I'm going to throw in Stunning Barrier just to be a dick. Shield of Faith is more than what you need. Stunning Barrier is garbage, but there's a trick that I want to show you with this early levels. Divine Favor, remember if you have that luck bonus, which I don't think we took, but if you did, this is a luck bonus. +1 to your swing, +1 to your damage. Eventually goes to +3. With that luck bonus from your trait, Fate's Favored, I think is what it's called, you could get it up from a +1 to a +2. Or when it finally caps out at +3, it could be technically a +4. You see the appeal. This is just one of many spells that you have that give a luck bonus for your attack bonus and your damage. So this is a nice way for you to upgrade your swing. Notice Bless, while it's still a bonus to your swing, it's not a luck bonus, it's a morale bonus, which means these two stack. So a +3 to my swing, +1 to my swing, that's a +4 right there. And +1 for my teammates, no less. So you can see the appeal. Of course, armor is always armor. I don't have to explain that. But Obscuring Mist is a weird choice you may think. Remember, at level 1, you have Blind Fight. That's what this is going to be used for. It sets up you being almost invisible. It's better than you think. I have to explain why in a bit. But it's a solid upgrade, and you'll see when we bust it off in combat. Over here at level 2, again, take what you feel. But I like moves that are auto-hit. I like stuff that protects me from poisons. I like stuff that gives me armor and my teammates as well. And a bonus to our natural weapon, which is not her thing. But that doesn't mean that she can't benefit from that natural armor. Resist Energy is a solid choice. Hold Person, remember you're trying to set up flat-footedness. You ain't more flat-footed than anyone else unless you're paralyzed. I mean, Jesus Christ, that's like the definition of flat-footed. You have no dexterity. So again, paralyzing an opponent, magic for you, because you literally are sneak attack. So again, Hold Person is a solid choice. Notice we have even new spells thanks to our new mods, our upgrades. I'll take Burst Raids though still because it's a solid damage buff. Spiritual Weapon could be fun. Lesser Enemy Dead, having a pet out that can help set up flank, sneak attack damage. Just saying, kind of felt cool, but I do like Weapon of Awe. Let me explain why. This is another addition. It's in the game before, just not for us until recently. Weapon of Awe gives you sacred bonus to your damage rolls for your weapon. Fucking awesome. And then, if you crit, the target be shaken for 1 round with no saving throw. Now remember, I said you didn't necessarily need Corning and Smash or Dreadful Carnage, because we have plenty of spells that would allow us to set up the shaken condition. This is just one of many. Yeah, you need to crit, but then for the weapon we're using, this is a terrible idea. But if you had, say, a Rapier, a crit fishing build could really benefit from Weapon of Awe, because you're going to crit more likely than not. And as a result of that, you could set up the shaken condition. Yes, it only lasts for 1 round, but if you're stabbing, and you crit on one of those early ones, you set up the shaking condition, and then you stab them with Shattered Defenses working, where it's sneak attack damage. Just saying, pretty damn cool. It's not amazing. There is no saving throw. You gotta love that part. But there's plenty of bad guys in the game that I'll even show you, probably one that is immune to shaking condition, so it won't do you any fucking good. So know that all you're gonna get out of those is just some extra damage. But hey, I'll take extra damage. Remember, strongest there is a lot of different connotations. One of which could be better chances to hit, better damage, which we do better than most. Level 3. Remember, setting up someone blind means if they can't see you and they don't have like Blind Fight, Improved Blind Fight, Greater Blind Fight, or some other enhanced senses of some kind, They're flat-footed to you. This is another way to set that up. Archon's Aura, though, this is another one of those aura buffs that you can center on yourself that really screws over the bad guys. This doesn't make them scared of you, but it does give them massive penalties to you, and again, lasts for a decent long time. I'll happily use that. I will use Magical Investment, and you may say, well, don't you have the ability to make your gear magic? Sure I do, for many minutes at a time. Why would you rather it be magic for many hours at a time? Again, everyone's different. I'll even get something like Greater Magic Weapon in my build just because I'm a dick that way. Prayer, solid buff / debuff for the bad guys. Is this one a luck bonus? Yes, this is a luck bonus. So again, if you had that Fates Favored, this would be a bonus to your swing and a bonus to your damage. It doesn't work on everything. That luck bonus, like I said, it should work for all those things. So luck for attacks, damage, saves, skill checks, it doesn't work that way. It does seem to work though, at least for your swing. And that's all I really care about. If it gives it to me for damage too, hey, yay, I'll take it. But if it doesn't give me to saves or skill checks, I'm not going to bitch about it too much. Deadly Juggernaut, on the other hand, is another one that's an amazing luck bonus that stacks with itself. The more guys you personally kill, the more you get for a bonus to your melee attack rolls, your melee damage rolls, to your strength checks, your strength-based skill checks, which is athletics, and your DR goes up to a total of DR 10 / dash, as well as a maximum of +5 to all those other buffs I just mentioned. And if you had Fates Favored, that +5 could be a +6 for many of those things, at the very least for your swing. So again, a solid luck-based build. Then, Channel Vigor is a solid choice. Greater Stunning Barrier, I'm going to grab it. You can animate some dead, have something else out there to capitalize on sneak attack. Notice we even have a new power, or spell, called Second Wind. Second Wind allows us to swift action heal ourselves. It's pretty badass. So if you get in a bind, this new spell will allow you to go, boop, I'm healed. Never mind. It's all good. Go back to attacking, cast another spell, do what you do. That's a solid spell. Level 4, I'm going to grab myself Death Ward, because I always do. Divine Power, another luck-based bonus to attacks, damage, strength checks, strength-based skill checks, up to a maximum of +6, +7 with Fates Favored, temp HP, and extra attack round. Just all kinds of good shit right here. Freedom of Movement is a solid choice. I like Aura of Doom. This is your other aura I was talking about, the one that will make them shaken. Again, another reason you probably don't need Corning and Smash or Dreadful Carnage. I just like having them because I like knowing they're there on tap. If I enter a room and the bad guys are automatically shaken because of this, I'm fine with it. I don't care that I pick Corning and Smash. It's just nice to know that if this doesn't work for whatever reason, like maybe they make a saving throw, because again, there's a will save through it, that I'll do an intimidation check when I get over there and smack him. So Corn Against Smash still has its utility. I'm just saying that it's not necessary as you would think. Rigor Mortis is a solid spell. Forceful Strike is a good one for force damage. Greater Magic Weapon, sure. Wrathful Weapon, yeah. Spiritual Ally, on the other hand, this is another new spell. I want to show you this one real quick. Matter of fact, I'll get rid of Greater Magic Weapon just to grab it. This one makes an enemy, or an ally, I should say, of force, that they will do force damage. They'll do decent damage. It'll be considered the weapon of your deity, I want to say. So in our case, it'll be a rapier attack, but it'll still do 1d10 points of force damage, +1 per 3 caster levels, up to a maximum of +5. So they'll be just bap, 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 stabbing the shit out of bad guys with their rapier of force damage. They can't be targeted as far as I know. They can't be killed in any real way. But they will basically stand there and you, I believe, get to control them and tell them who to attack. But they are something that's flanking a bad guy. And if that works properly, then we are setting up sneak attack conditions. Remember, they can't be attacked, which means the bad guys are going to straight up ignore them and come for you. Whatever, you got hopefully your buffs up and your armor up and all that other good shit going for you, so you shouldn't be hit as much as you think. But the spiritual ally is helping you set up sneak attack damage, which is another reason for him. The force damage is being the other big reason, and ignoring damage reduction. It strikes as a spell, not a weapon, so it bypasses DR, can affect incorporeal creatures, which means your spiritual ally can fight spirits for you. So again, pretty fucking cool. And again, I like that that's a new additional spell. So that's worth mentioning. Angelic Aspect is decent. Breath of Life and Cleanse are good spells. Constricting Coils, remember, if they're paralyzed, sneak attack is applicable here. Flame Strike for some AoE fun. Vine Trap is another paralysis spell. Different kind of paralysis, by the way. Notice we got Reflex spell resistance on this one versus Constricting Coils, which is will saves spell resistance. So again, two different ways to save. If you're fighting ninjas, see if the will saves will get up. If you're fighting anyone else, see if Vine Trap works. Because, you know, the wizard types, they'll probably have a good will save, right? So again, reasons for one versus the other. You gotta get me some Righteous Might up here, though. This is a way for you to get bigger, better reach, cleave build. Remember? This is one of those spells I was talking about. Remember, you have sneak attack damage, though, with anything that is a melee touch attack or a ranged spell that's a ranged touch attack, or ray spell, which is what Slay Living is. So, you can add your sneak attack to this if applicable. So make sure to keep an eye out for some of that shit. Same with your inflict light wounds, not your mass versions, because those aren't ray spells or melee touch attacks. But the lesser versions, like inflict critical, that is a melee touch attack. You can get sneak attack off that shit. So it's another reason for you to maybe pick inflict for spontaneous conversion instead of heal. Up to you, but still some fun to be had there. And again, remember, while I say that, because obviously that's the way to set that up, remember, where's the cure? Cure critical wounds is still a melee touch attack, but it's a heal. What the hell? Not against undead. So again, you can still get your sneak attack damage off on those little fuckers if they're not immune to sneak attack, of course, by using cure critical wounds on the son of a bitch walking over going, boop, sneak attack, bitch. Just saying. Keep that shit in mind. Other stuff in here, True Sing is a solid choice. Smite Abomination, that's a new one. Yeah, let's grab some of that. Fickle Winds for protecting yourself. Wall of Blindness, remember, don't run through it yourself or your team, because it's not teammate friendly. But if you set it up and they run through it and they fail their check, it's a fortitude save. Spell resistance is applicable, but if anyone of the bad guys that fail that shit, they are blind. Guess what you just set up for yourself? Yeah, sneak attack. You know what I'm saying? Lots of cool shit to be had here is my point. Chains of Light. Now, when we talk about Paralysis Spells, the Paralysis Spell is my favorite Paralysis Spells. This one for a couple of reasons. One, reflex save versus will save. That's a nice addition. And then this one right here. No spell resistance. It is your deity sending down godly chains to wrap around the bad guy and saying, fuck you, you're paralyzed, motherfucker. And only if they reflex out of it are they safe from it. If they're not, they're helpless. Sneak attack, sneak attack, sneak attack all day long, baby. Eagle Soul, this is the other spell I said that you need to be good for. Notice that if you're not good, if you're neutral, you become sickened. If you're evil, you get staggered, which means like one attack in a round, and that fucking bones your ass. So don't do those things. And there might be a way to ignore being sickened. So I suppose you could probably go neutral, but I hate to rely on shit like that. I just know that if I'm good, I'm getting all this shit. All plus, no minus. Why wouldn't you want Eagle Soul? And again, a solid bonus to strength. That's a sacred bonus to strength. Just saying. Fucking cool. From there, I like spells that are swift actions that do damage. So, like Cold Eye Strike is a solid spell. I like myself some heal. I like myself some harm. Those are always solid choices. I could have just as easily gotten rid of that and grabbed myself Hellfire Ray. Remember, Ray spells, every beam that hits, potential for sneak attack damage. Harm is a melee touch attack. Heal could be a melee touch attack. Again, sneak attack damage would be applicable for those as well, if they are applicable, of course. Again, no wrong answer here. Lots of good stuff to grab. So, let's rest up. Here. Out.
Trail me.
Here. I need to sell some stuff because I'm actually at a penalty. You may see that I have Envy and Hedonistic Debuff. That's a -2 to Strength, -2 to Dex. Why? Because I don't have enough cash on hand. So I'm just going to get rid of the Rigid Oak Staff. See how that, with enough cash on hand, those penalties go away. Okay? That's the reason to do that. So just come over here. I'm going to gift myself some actual better armor. So you can get a kind of feel for what you would shoot for. So you do items and equipment. You don't have to go crazy either. But let's do armor, weapons, and I'm going to say chain shirt. Search it. These should be the chain shirts that are available in the game. Mithril obviously being one of your favorites. We'll just grab one of them. Heavenly Vest, that sounds cool. Assassin's chain shirt, that might be something you'd be interested in. The Man Time for some protection for yourself. We can get the antitoxin one. Stainless chain shirt, light absorber. There's just a gleaming chain shirt. There's just like a laundry list, chain breakers, chain mail. I know it says chain mail, it's still a chain shirt. And again, there's a lot of good choices in here, right? Just to give you an idea of what you're looking at. Oh, we'll see. Forgot we don't have Knowledge Arcana. Hey, Dragon. Tell me what this shit is, will you? Appreciate it. Never mind, fuck off. Alright. Just stay there in case I want to give myself something else. So again, chain breakers, chain mail. is a chain shirt. You see it under the name. Notice max dexterity is less of a concern for us. That's because we haven't given ourselves any proper gear. So what proper gear would you give yourself? Well, you'd probably give yourself the Belt of Awesome. And that would be the Belt of Physical Perfection +8. And then you'd probably want to get yourself something that's wisdom based for your hat. But let's actually just reset filters, and we're going to say wisdom. Because there's a variety of things in the game that can give you a bonus to wisdom that isn't your hat. For example, your armor. Amulet of Dying Wisdom is another one. In view of the Master, that's a robe. That's a +4 to wisdom, +4 to armor, +6 to intelligence. Some decent stuff there. But what my point is it doesn't have to just be a hat. The obvious one, though, for me is a hat. Let me find the headwear. And belt. Alright, now you want to get yourself the headband of Mental Perfection +6 would be a 6 to Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. That's not the worst thing ever. We'll give just one of those, just so we have it. But you'd probably take yourself Helmet of the Dusk, is that the one? Helmet of the Dusk, and there's actually kind of batshit crazy look to it. The other hats, Brightest Darkness might be okay. The other hats kind of look like hats. Like, and I know that sounds dumb, but I mean, they look like wizard hats. Pointy, tall cone hats, witch hat looking kind of shit. So if you're playing for something that like that would look dumb, you probably wouldn't wear that hat. But just to give you a for instance of kind of gear that you might have on your character, here is your headband of Mental Perfection. Doesn't even show up, but that's a +6, a +6, a +6. If you can't find that or don't want to waste money on it, know that eventually you will, in the normal version of the game, inherit a crown. As such, once you become crowned king, or in your case queen, you will get a crown. That's magic. That's a +6 to those 3 mental stats, and a bonus to your saves against compulsion effects, which is better than this tiara, this headband. So this would be the one that would be alright, but again, for what you're supposed to be, kind of looks a little weird, so maybe that's not your thing. This is the one that's just like a wisdom buff, but it's so much more than that. What else does it give you? Immunity to stun and daze. Any creature attacking you has to save against a DC 23, which is not amazing, but remember, there's always a chance to crit fail, or become dazed for 1 round. Fuck yeah, and you kind of look like the evil bitch that you always wanted to be with the Helmet of the Dusk on. Just saying, a variety of things that you could have done. Same with your armor. We have the Chain Breakers, Chain Mail. Look at that, +5 right now versus the +6 that you're allowed to have. You're getting a lot more armor under your touch now as a result of that. And again, we've yet to drink Bakken's potion, which gives us up to a +6. So again, this +6 or max dexterity 6 here is achievable for you, is my point. We could have done the Heavenly Vest, again, Mithril Shirt, immune to energy drain. That could be annoying when you're fighting those types of monsters. Assassin's Chain Shirt, bonus on critical confirmation rolls. That sounds fucking cool, especially for a crit fishing build, like say you went Rapier. This would be something that you could have some serious fun with, and it's an adamantine chain shirt by default. So again, a very nice bonus for you for sort of absorbing some damage. The Mithril Chain Shirt, just generic Mithril Chain Shirt, but a nice max dexterity again, but so is this one. So you probably would pass on that. But the point is you can keep yourself out a variety of ways. As far as rings are concerned, again, no wrong answer here. I would avoid, let's see if I can show it to you under spells. I would avoid stuff that gives you deflection, because you have spells that can do that. Now, yeah, maybe having something that has some deflection built into it doesn't bother me, because then I don't have to use this spell, but I know that I have this spell on tap. So it's one of those things where I can now diversify my ring choices into other shit. You know, like maybe I get a ring that makes me immune to curses. Maybe I'll get a ring that gives me a spell a day, like Magic Missile, just a few times a day, just to be a dick. You know, just whatever. So again, there's a variety of stuff that's in here that can be a ring choice. Same with your robes or chain shirt, or your cloak, or your necklace, boots and gloves and bracers. You know, go willy-nilly crazy. You don't have to wear armor. You can always get braces of armor class +8 and get yourself some robes that increase your intelligence and your wisdom. We saw that. That was a thing. The Dark Master's Envy, or whatever the fuck it was called. So literally, there's a variety of ways to build and kit out your guy. We already talked about quarterstaffs, plenty of choices here. As far as this stuff here, you'd be crazy, in my opinion, not to grab every goddamn, what are those things called? Rods? Search for all, yeah, it's not going to work. It's just looking at a rod. There we go. You want like the Rod of the Fearless, Rod of Flaming Vengeance, Rod of Power Source, Rod of Undeath. Not the Chandler's Rod, but you do want the Grandmaster's Rod. Those right there are pretty much all the rods that you would want to have on a caster build. You need to have them identify them. Thanks, buddy. Fuck off. And the reason you do that is it makes you just a better caster for a variety of things. And then you have one for every category here. This one alone, maximizing empowered spells, ignoring spell resistance, ignoring magic immunity, like, was it like 3 times a day? Just ridiculous fuck you to the bad guy that's like, I'm immune to magic. Not anymore, motherfucker. Grandmaster Rod on your ass. Just saying. And again, doing full damage and 50% more full damage because of the empowered version of it. It's fucking sweet. So that's when you use like a Flame Strike or your Hellfire Ray on that son of a bitch. You got this one here. All your spells now do like fire damage instead of what they should have done. You have a higher caster level, your better evocation spells, which you don't have a lot of evocation spells. But again, for the ones that do, it's nice to have those DC checks higher, right? Again, Flame Strike being a fine example. Power Source, your conjuration spells are a little bit better as far as DC checks. And remember, Glitter Dust should be a conjuration spell, even though this is an at-will use. Because you have this in your little fingies all the time, you should get that bonus to the DC check for the Glitter Dust, which is extremely helpful. Rod of Undeath, again, a bonus to your Necromancy spells. You have plenty of Necromancy spells. Even if you didn't go that route, you had the ability to pick the Inflict spells. Those are all Necromancy spells. And if there's a DC saving throw for that shit, now you got a +2 to the DC check on that, making it harder for them to make the save to absorb half of the damage. And all of these are meta magic rods that have an effect on it, like empowered, maximized, or extend, or any number of shit. So again, this one's the extend. Here's the empowered version. Here's one that's maximized. Here's empowered and maximized. This one here is quicken. Just if you need to fire something off a few times a day, you have access to this one 3 times a day. 3 times a day. It only works on spells level 1, 2, or 3. That's why it's the lesser version, as you see there, the dual tip. But again, also gives you a bonus to your saves against fear effects. So if someone's trying to scare you, this is a solid spell meta magic rod for you to have on your person. You may give these to other people on the team. Like there's other casters that could benefit from this better than you. Octavia is a fine example. But I like kitting myself out with the best gear I find and making everyone else kind of less than me. Let's just say that, fuck it. I can be that guy. Less than me. I'm the captain. Fuck off. I want the cool shit. You can have the little fucking other gear that I don't want. You can have the crown. Piss off. I want this. I want to be immune to shit. And again, there's a variety of ways for you to make your character. Now, having said all that, let's get yourself to somewhere safe.
Step.
And quick save it. And let's spawn ourselves a bad guy or 7. Oh, I should actually probably... Well, let's pick someone first. What the hell's going on? My game crashed! Alright, we're back. I hope. Game crashed. I don't know why it crashed. Give me a chance to get a little sippy sip soda here. That was weird. I won't lie to you. I've never had that crash actually show up on the screen. Hopefully I didn't mess something up with one of my mods. And I did spawn bad guys yesterday when I was trying to do this video before, so I know that that's not what caused it. Maybe I double clicked on something I didn't realize it. Fortunately, the save should have gone through, I hope. Yeah, okay. That's close. We're back. Alright, I don't know what caused that, guys, but that was definitely weird. It wasn't because I tried to spawn units, because I've done that in the past. Unit type. Right, we want to do, type troll. No, try race troll. That's not working. Okay, that's not working either. What the hell? Let's do CR. Colon 12. Or maybe I'm in the wrong spot. I think I'm in the wrong spot. Derp. CR. There we go. Okay. Athak. Bullet. Cyclops. Great. Red Zombie, Cyclops, Cleric. Cyclops, great. Undead Cyclops, Priests. I mean, I can fight Undead, I'm not worried about that so much, but many of them are immune to the shaking condition, so I just want something that is probably not. How about we do this guy here? Hostile, backspace will activate him. So we have that. Let's do a quick save again. Okay. And then what we're going to do is want to buff up. So let's assume that we're in a dungeon and you guys are going to be running through and doing shit. So again, you get yourself your Shield of Faith on your character. You probably won't have Bless on your character because it lasts for a good long while. Got me in the med rod, damn it. I'm doing quicken. It's okay, I'll instant rest. Okay, let's do that right now. Get my charges back on that. I didn't want to do it. Okay. Here. You'll have stuff like your ability to buff your armor. We have our magical vestments. So again, if your chain shirt or leathers or padded armor, whatever your robes, even for that matter, don't have armor on them, you can get them up to a +5. So again, it's not amazing, but it lasts for many, many hours. I usually like to put my aura on myself. That's my Archon's aura. Frequent movement lasts for a decent long while. Like that. Right. And blight poison just because. Long lasting buffs, hours. If it's minutes per level, usually I'll activate it at the start of the dungeon. If it's one round, then usually I pass. Or if it's something like this, it's only 1 minute, I'll wait until the fight starts. So, again, reasonably buffed up. Not remotely everything you can do for this character. And again, we didn't even cast Righteous Might on ourselves. I want to show you that later. There's a reason for that. But again, we're strong. We're doing well. We're not amazing compared to some of our strength-based builds. But just to give for frame of reference, we could have been a strength of 24 plus 8, bringing us to 32, which is what you're seeing now. Plus 2 more for that Bakken's potion we've yet to drink, so that brings us up to a 34. I can get you 2, 4, or 6 higher by size bonuses by either Enlarged Person, Righteous Might, or Legendary Proportions. Those are scrolls or potions. In our case, Righteous Might is a spell we can actually cast ourselves. That's a +4 to our strength. So I can take that 34 up to a 38. I can give myself another bonus to strength from Eagle Soul. That's another +4 from the Sacred bonus to strength. So 38 goes up to 42. That's good. It's not great. I'm in the 50s and 60s like I've seen with my other builds. But it's a solid increase. And again, yeah, you can turn yourself into a dragon with a Dragonkind 3 spell. So again, the ability to give yourself a polymorph bonus to strength that could be upwards of, like, I want to say, like a +8. So we just say I was at a 42. I could get you to about 50. But it's weird, and you're probably going to be weird fighting around as a dragon. But sneak attack damage for both claw attacks, your bite attack, both wing attacks, and a tail slap. I don't know, man. It's kind of fucking sexy. Just saying. So there's some fun to be had here. I still like the quarterstaff, though. I think the quarterstaff is fun. Let's just summon an Athak. Dog.
I'll carve my name onto your flesh.
That was a dog. What the hell? Got a picture of a guy's head. Alright. Anyway, this will give me a chance to show you the charge ability. Boom. Notice how he was intimidated by my aura immediately. That's why I got sneak attack on that shit. Right? Because he failed his will saving throw. That's what that was about. Notice him with a call. Got sneak attack damage. What was that hit at? 34. 15 base attack bonus. 11 from strength, which again I can get you much higher. Got me a weapon focus for quarterstaff. That was at level 1. Family heirloom got that at level 1. Power attack -4. Oh, boo. But furious focus takes that away. So again, that's nice. The call, it's a +4 weapon. I could have made it +5. +2 from the charge. So again, I could have made this maybe like 1 point higher. It'd be a nice solid 34 for a swing. And he was flat-footed. Just an amazing fuck you. Notice, well, that's new. Lunge -2. That's the same as charge +2. What's that about? That's an addition that I've never seen before. Damage-wise, 2d8. Remember our upgraded weapon, spiritual weapon, going up from 1d6 all the way up to 2d8 by the end of it, which is what we're at here. 32 damage. Where did all that come from? It's a +4 weapon. We're using power attack. That's a -4 +8, but we're doing it two-handed. So instead of -4 +8, it's -4 +12. So 12 and a +4 weapon makes it 16. We're missing 16 more. And our strength was an 11, but we get half of that, so 5.5 rounded down, so that's the 16. So 11 and 5 is 16. So that's where you're getting the 32. That's a solid amount of damage. And then you throw in the sneak attack on top of that shit. 8d6 +8 more. That's freaking almost as much damage as the weapon itself. That was pretty impressive. And again, we'll have the ability to just capitalize on that multiple times. Just let him attack me. Clearly he's glitching out, and clearly it has something to do with the fact that he's a dog. Obviously he's not the guy here. I did make them hostile, didn't
Die, die, die!
Fairly certain. And he was red. Let's take a look at that again. Let's get a spawn unit. Hostile was selected. Clearly these guys are wrong. So let's grab something different. Let's grab a Cyclops. Sure, why not? Oh, I need a clear. There we go. Cyclops. There we go. Hostile. Close. Alright. Let me get it, buddy.
Let's shred
Give me a
them!
chance to show you the sneak attack potential of that level 1 spell. Watch him wail on me. Okay? I was forward. He's stunning himself for my hat. See how he gets stunned? He's filling his will save. Suck it, loser. But hit me. I don't like that. So let's take a look at that swing though. 25. I'm flat-footed, so it's not surprising that he was able to wail on me. But again, now that I'm not flat-footed, it should be less of a problem. However, he's still annoying, and I don't like this perk. So what do? Well, we had that spell, level 1, called Obscuring Mist. So you'll see if I do Obscuring Mist, I'm going to get a buff and a penalty at the same time. If he's within 5 feet of me, so 0 to 5 feet, let's say, he'll swing at a 20% miss chance. He has a big reach because he's got big fucking arms, so he's at a farther range than me, which means the mist is really, really working, which means he has a 50% miss chance. And so do I, you may think, but be mistaken. See the concealment on that last one? That means he missed because of the 50%. And someone's mowing the yard. So we're going to finish this up quickly. But that was the reason for that spell. Now you may say, well, you have the same penalty too. Yes, that's true, but I have to close the gap for 1 because I don't have reach. I could if I cast this spell on me. So I will do this right now. Although the yard's being mowed right off fucking side my place. Doing a personal spell. See how that activated here? And now I have better reach. 5-foot reach, no less. Which means I'll still be at 50%. You may think. You'd be
Let
wrong.
the attack commence!
Kicked his ass with sneak attack love. But let me show you why it's 20%. Thank you for mowing today, asshole. Fucking hate living in apartments. Greater blind fight. Remember I said it takes it from 50% down to 20%? This is why this one was necessary for me. Because again, if I have that bigger build, that stronger, tougher, faster, all that fucking jazz, remember you get a big bonus for being Righteous Might. Legendary proportions and large person, any of those would work. You have a bigger reach. If you're still fighting in that same cloud, you would be at a 50% penalty to hit. Not me. I have greater blind fight. It drops it down to 20 still. And that's still worth, because that screws them. And for big dudes like him, you saw he was at a 50% chance of hitting me because he was so far away. If I didn't have
Shall we move? We shall
righteous,
move.
mighty, and large person, all that shit on me, if I was back to being teeny tiny, I would have had to close the gap, which means I would have run up into his face, swung, and I can still do that, and it's a 20% miss chance for most people, not me. Remember, I have the 20% taking away, so I have that back to being normal fighting. He would be at 20%. Why? You just said that he has reach. Yes, but I closed the gap between me and him, which means he's now within 5 feet of me. He's back to going, oh, he's right fucking there. Let me swing at him. You know, the miss still obscures it a little bit, so he has a 20% miss chance. And unless he has blind fight, improved blind fight, greater blind fight, and all that cool jazz, he still has a 20% chance to miss me. And that's a level 1 spell. That's a good way for you and your team to set up some shit. Now, with this annoying-ass lawnmower crap going on in the background, I think that's all I really needed to say here. Anyway, have fun with this build. Is it the strongest there is? No. Is it a strong contender? Fuck yeah. And the ability to do all that sneak attack love is really, really sweet. But with that, my name is Brother Mute. Please like, subscribe, comment down, and I'll tell you later. Bye.